My fellow Americans, my name is Paul Johnson, Florence, Kentucky. In my day job, I sell Medicare products and life insurance and try to put food on the table. Yesterday, we had I think, the best Thanksgiving we've ever had. We had with us Dawn's and her children, and we had with us a fellow who's dealing right now with pancreatic cancer who spent 9 hours the other day on the operating table. Just 3 weeks ago, yesterday. Man, he enjoyed that turkey. Had also with us Marty Elder and Pat Elder. Pat and I went to a Christian service camp 100 years ago together. And Marty is a pilot for UPS. It's good to see young people grow and develop and mature. I wasn't able to go to Clyde's funeral I think that was about a couple months ago. I just could not make it. Although I wanted to, but I just couldn't make it. And Marty wrote something for his dad and used it at the funeral, and I want to share it with you. And I'm going to share it with you word for word, unless the last names of some of these people, which I can't seem to get my head around right now. This is Marty Elder talking about Clyde Elder, his dad. A simple, quiet, and unassuming man, humble almost to a fault. He had no other wants or needs other than what you wanted or needed. You often had to fight him to pick out a restaurant in which to eat because to him your choice was more important. If you were fortunate enough to become a good friend to him, you often were given some of the best he had to offer. Mostly watermelons, tomatoes, blackberry jelly, or chocolate candy. It was advice that you sought from him. It was freely given, but only after a quiet, thoughtful period. And to ease it, he would often say, "I wouldn't do that, boy." Of course, I would have already done it, and what I shouldn't have done, and he would just shake his head and brush me aside with dat, whatever that means. At that point, he would remove the tool from my hands. If the job called for a 2x4, he'd use a 4x8. I've got a brother like that. Build it once to stay. The proof lies in the building. The youth have a great carpet ball table that Clyde had built. It only takes 8 men to move it. We also are blessed with a 600-pound nativity scene. However, he did admit that he would have, if he had to rebuild it again, he would use lighter material. Dad worked 24 days a month. He was actually working as a parts man at a GM dealership in Florence. On the 6 days of the month he was laid off, he would usually be working on some old clunker he had bought home from the dealership. He would paint and fix it to sell in the front yard. As a kid, I thought the smell of gas and oil was the style of a cologne he wore, and the grease under his fingernails were just nail polish for men. In my teenage years, I grew restless with the rules of the Elder household. My parents knew nothing, and I knew it all, or so I thought. The rubber had yet to meet the road. My father's solution to this was, boy, you are coming to work for me. I was given enough rope to hang myself, which I promptly did on the first day. I half attempted my first task, and he immediately exposed my poor work ethic and all the men at the shop, who chuckled and laughed out loud. They knew where it was headed. On the ride home, it was explained that my name was attached to everything that I was given. I not only represented myself, but the name of my family. Heavy stuff for a 14-year-old snot-nosed kid. So, young people, you think you know it all. Go to work with mom or dad for the summer, and I'll guarantee that you can't wait for school to start. Soon thereafter, I caught the flying bug from my Uncle Gene, who is 83 years young and is here today with us, with his wife Linda and cousins Jill and Michelle and her friend Penny, who sang for us. As I approached mom and dad with the idea of going to flight school, they took it all in stride. I had my first lesson from Omar Bradley at the Falmouth, Kentucky airport. I'm not sure what was said to mom and dad during the post-flight, but they made a huge investment in me for a few years later, with little hope of return of the investment. You know, folks, it's not a whole lot of parents out there who are willing to mortgage the farm to pay for a kid's college. I have several of my flying buddies here today, and I know for a fact that they did it on their own with either military service or work multiple jobs. Gentlemen, I hold you in high regard. To my wife, Vicki, you have been on this crazy ride since the fall of 1988. You and Dad quickly formed an inseparable bond while I was in flight school in Arizona. I wasn't really thrilled with him teaching you to shoot every Sunday. I guess I didn't have a choice or commitment. Either purpose or get shot by one or both. You know, he actually told me before we were married, boy, don't mess this up. Or boy, don't screw this up. As we proceed through the days and weeks ahead, don't worry, Mom. We both know where Dad's heart was. The fortitude of your grandkids is longer than most adults I know. The return on the investment that you and Dad made has been called. It's your time to enjoy the ride. Worry not. What more can be said? Dad was proud of his kids, proud of his grandkids, and proud of his church and the church family. And Dad enjoyed and cherished the love of one woman for 50 years. The last several years, I have been blessed with time to listen, time to learn, time to fish. On Friday afternoon, the fish population of southern Indiana gave a sigh of relief. But I wouldn't be too comfortable. We're coming after you this spring, which is why Bob and Tom are both here today, and they will be reviewing applications for the open seat in the boat. Mark Crum, here's your chance. James and Gary will also be looking for a new supervisor to get me out of trouble with all the harebrained ideas I come up with as we continue to grow and build a large church here in Sellersburg. Most men go their whole lives without meeting their hero. I got to live with mine. Dad, you have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. You have kept the faith. Clyde Elder became a Christian late in life. And most of those people that I've met really get serious about Jesus. See you soon, Clyde.